Hello and welcome to Random Access, PC Mag's daily show on Facebook, where we show you one cool thing which we are testing in the PC Mag labs. I'm Sjcam SJ6, this is Jim Fisher, our expert on cameras and drones. I know something about phones and tablets. We have Social Pete over here ready to take your questions and comments. And of course, if you have any questions about the product which we are showing off today, or any questions about any technology products in general, please ask us and we'll try to help you if we can. But today's product is actually right on my head. What is this? I can't even see it. It's on my head.
I don't know. I feel like I should have the name of a famous person on my head.
I know. I feel like I'm playing that game, that party game with the cards. Yeah.
Yes, this is the Sjcam SJ6 Legend.
Okay.
It is $160.
And that is the news here. Basically, what we have here is a $160 GoPro competitor. And how much do GoPros usually cost?
The competing GoPro, the Hero 5 Black, which has similar features, although better features in some ways, is $400.
Okay, so less than half the price of the competing GoPro. So now this is an SJ6. Was there an SJ1 through 5?
I don't know. I think they went from 5,000, 4,000 to 6.
Okay.
I've just become familiar with this company. They sent me two models: the SJ6 and the SJ7.
Okay.
The SJ7 is a little more expensive. It's $200.
Okay.
The video quality is a little bit better, but it has some things that I don't like about it. That this has things at lesser price I do like about it. This has a tripod socket. This has a touch screen.
Okay.
This has a front LCD.
Let's take this off my head, and you can show it to the camera and start walking around what the features of this $160 quality action cam are.
That sounds like a good idea. It is not waterproof without a case. It comes with this case here, which I'm going to try to open. There we go. The case can be used with two backs. We've got the touchscreen capable back in there, which is waterproof to, I want to say 10 feet, something like that, modestly waterproof, and you can change the back out for a real solid one that can go to 100 feet.
Oh yeah, I feel how the back here is flexible, so that's the touchscreen.
Without a case, you don't want to drop it, you don't want to put it underwater, it's not waterproof. The GoPro Hero 5 Black is waterproof to 33 feet without a case.
And now this will fit on standard GoPro mounts.
Yes, this is actually a GoPro mount for the headband. The headband does not come with it, it's just a prop. It does come with some accessories, some mounting accessories. It's got a nice, touchscreen LCD. You've got, different types of ways to go to your interface here. Swipe. Oh, it's recording right now, so I can't access things. It's actually rolling that footage, which won't match with Pro footage, but that's what you pay for a GoPro. If you don't care about trying to get your footage to be super professional.
Now, if you say it won't match, does that mean it's a lower frame rate?
It's 24 frames per second at 4K only. If you shoot at 1080p, you have the option to shoot at 60 or 30. There's also a 2.7K option at 30 frames a second only. So you don't have as many frame rate options as you have GoPro. You're locked in. The video is actually interpolated. It's not true 4K. It's a 16 megapixel Panasonic sensor inside, but they're doing some software tricks to turn 2.7K footage into 4K. But they're adding digital stabilization, which works quite well.
Does that end up looking a little soft, though?
It is a little softer than footage from a GoPro, footage from the $400 GoPro, even footage from the $200 SJ7, but the stabilization is better here. So I think for consumers who are not going to invest in a lot of mounts and want to have, they're not going to be super critical of their footage. They're not going to care if the sky is doesn't have quite as much dynamic range as the higher ones. You get some blown out whites in the clouds versus blue sky with this.
How wide is the field of view?
It's the typical ultra-wide-angle GoPro, but you can change it. You can make it medium or narrow.
Okay. Now, I see we have a front display here. Right now, it's just kind of showing a gear. What kind of information do you get on this front display?
When you're not in the settings menu, if you can zoom in here, you get recording status, your resolution, your battery life, amount of memory left on the memory card, and recording time left on the memory card.
And what's the battery life like?
That is a good question. I was going to look that up before the show. And it's in the full review, and it is roughly, I want to say roughly 60 minutes.
Do you remember if that's better or worse than a GoPro?
It is about the same as a GoPro.
Okay.
We saw some budget action cameras go up to 100 minutes, which was the best I saw, and some do 35 minutes, which did not get a great review.
Okay, and memory-wise, this will work with any decent speed micro SD card.
Yes. Yes.
Up to 256 gigs.
We did not try it with a super big card. I've got a 32 gig SanDisk UHS U3 card in there now.
So
the other thing is, you might notice here, it's got a mini USB port, which is a little weird.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
Everything's micro,
Yeah.
but at least it's standard. It's not some weird proprietary cable. One thing I really like is tripod socket. So you don't have to go out and get some weird GoPro accessory if you've got a tripod.
Looks like we have some questions out there.
You may have covered this. Is there any sort of remote control?
There is a little, there's a phone remote. It's got Wi-Fi, so you can use the Sjcam app for your phone. This one, I just reviewed 8 of these low-cost action cams, so the accessories are a little muddled in my mind. I don't remember if there's the wristwatch style remote with this one or not.
So let's.
That's listed. If there is, it's listed in the review.
So now,
I apologize.
Low-cost action cams. You said earlier that you had reviewed models down to $50.
Yeah, we reviewed one that sells for 50. The MSRP was like 70. It sells for less. It got a 1.5.
Whoa!
It had some serious video quality issues. Premiere Pro wouldn't even read the video. It was just a disaster. So you want to before you buy a cheap action cam, you want to read some reviews because their ones are pretty decent. We reviewed a couple in the $80 price range, the Wimius L1 and the Aukey AC LC2 are actually pretty decent $80 performers that record 4K.
Yeah, Aukey that's a decent brand. I know them from, they do a lot of kind of dongles and docks for laptops.
And they do cell phone conversion lenses as well, which is where I knew them from. It's those $80 models, they're not as good as this one. They don't have touch screens. The menus are kind of a pain to use. The video's not quite as good. The stills are not quite as good. But they're $80. So just make sure you don't buy one that's a terrible $80 one.
Now, I have to say, since we've been using action cams as part of our fastest mobile networks driving, I cannot recommend an action cam with a touchscreen highly enough.
No, it makes it much easier to use, and being able to see what the camera's recording. These other ones have LCDs that aren't touch, and they're kind of clunky to use. This one, if I need to change a setting, I can just hit the settings button here on the bottom side and go into the menu and change quality, video quality, compression quality, change color options, change the exposure value, enable or disable the gyro sensor, which is your digital stabilization, change the dynamic range for kind of a semi-HDR look, eliminate the fisheye distortion at the cost of some field of view. There's a lot of things you can do very easily from the touchscreen menu that are difficult to use on a camera this small that only has 3 weird buttons to navigate the menus.
Now, can you mount this on a drone?
Could. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find a gimbal that fits it and powers it. However, it's about the same size as a GoPro Hero 4 series, so you might be able to get a clamp and clamp it into a GoPro Hero 4 gimbal.
So it's not exactly the same. Like, it won't fit into Hero 4 cases.
No.
Okay,
it's a
okay.
little slightly different form factor.
Okay. So, this is our editor's choice for the low-cost cameras.
It is.
What are you getting? We went a little bit into this, but what are you getting for the double the price with the GoPro that you're not necessarily getting here?
You're getting more frame rate options. You're getting ProTune video, which is GoPro's way of saying high bit rate 4K video with native 4K without the interpolation. And if you're working on a set and you've got multiple cameras and you want to be able to color grade and match things together, the GoPro is a better choice. But again, if you're working on a set, $400 for camera is nothing.
Yeah, that's certainly the case.
The GoPro is also waterproof without a case. The Hero 5 Black can go 33 feet and can be dropped and is ruggedized already.
Okay, great. Looks like we have some more questions.
How does this compare to a light field camera like the Lytro?
It's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
The image quality on this is going to be better than the image quality on the Lytro. The Lytro light field camera has terrible image quality for being a camera that costs as much as it did when it's sold. It was $1,600, I think, when it came out at retail. It's a completely different beast.
Yeah, that's like saying how does chicken compare to beef? Like they are kinds of meat.
Yes.
Yeah. Like they're both things that take pictures, but otherwise totally different classes of objects.
Yeah, the Lytro didn't even do video, so let's this is a video camera.
So any more questions out there about cameras, phones, anything in the world today?
Actually, so did you mention whether this has any sort of waterproofing on its own? Is it only through the
No,
case?
you need to have a case. It comes with a case, and the case comes with 2 backs. This one is sports touchscreen and is waterproof to like 10 feet. So you take it, wading with it, and then you can change this back out. This pops right off, and another one pops on, and it's good for 100 feet. So if you want to go diving with it, you use the back that doesn't support touchscreen. And when you're underwater, you can't use a touchscreen anyway. So, that's a non-starter there.
One of the things I think that certainly concern me when I'm dealing with lower cost products and products from brands I may not have heard of before is, what is the sales and support situation? Where are you buying this? How do you get support? What is the support like?
That's a good question. You can buy it on Amazon.
Okay.
So you can buy it at a normal retailer. Support-wise, that's not something, unfortunately, the way we get products in for review, and this isn't any secret or anything, is I get an email from a PR company or from the manufacturer itself and says, will you review my product? And they send it to us. So if something goes wrong, and nothing really went wrong with this, I have a direct line to contact. I'm not calling the general support number.
Do you know if there's like an online community or anything out there? Are people using this?
There is an online community for this, actually.
Okay.
This shoots raw images. However, it's in a format that Lightroom doesn't support, Adobe doesn't support. So I did some Googling, I found some forums, and it's linked out in the review, is someone wrote their own RAW converter for this. It's on GitHub with builds for Linux and Windows.
Yeah, because one of the things that impresses me about GoPro is how vibrant the online community is there, and how you can always reach out and find other GoPro users who may have had the problem you're having or had the challenge you're having.
Obviously you're not going to have as many people using this as GoPro, but there is some people making homebrew software to work with some files and making some limitations. The manufacturer does not offer RAW converter, even though it shoots raw.
Looks like we have some more questions.
How many of these cameras could you control at a time with remote control?
You'd have to bounce around to different Wi-Fi SSIDs with your phone, with the phone remote, because each broadcasts its own network.
This isn't designed for a multi-camera setup, basically.
Right. If you want to have a bunch of cameras going at once, just set them up. Just start the recording one by one. It's just hit the button.
Yeah.
I know remote control is tempting, but these things are meant for long form recording, so you can just put a big memory card in here and go to town. We've got a 32 gig card in here. It's more than an hour, more than the battery life will handle.
Now, are there any action cams where the app lets you control multiple cameras at once?
Well, GoPro's got that rig for the Hero series where you've got the spherical thing, and they all plug in. They're all synced via USB.
They're fake 360 camera.
Yeah, so they've got that. And I don't know about for just having like 4 or 5 Hero 5s on set, if there's an easy way to start all those at once. Because that's just not something that I only have one on hand, so I can't really see if I can do multiple at a time.
Yeah, but I feel like part of the deal with this being a low cost action camera is that it's not for those kinds of professional.
It's not.
Setups.
This is for someone who wants a cheap action camera and doesn't wants to go on vacation and shoot some stuff underwater, but doesn't want to spend 400 hours on a GoPro on a camera they might lose.
Right, or drown.
Yeah.
Any more questions out there? No. Okay, so the review is up on this.
Yep.
And
you have 4 stars, editor's choice, because of quality and price. It is solidly built. It's got the tripod mount. The touchscreen works really well. The video quality, not the best 4K I've seen, but the stabilization's really good. And that's a big thing, I think, especially for handheld footage. Someone's just walking around, you don't want your video to look like someone, was shaking.
But also, like, if you're actually, it's an action cam. If you're actually in action, stabilization matters a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's mounted, it helps.
It looks like we have one more question before we go.
How does it compare to the Sjcam M20?
Did not look at the M20. I looked at the SJ6 and the SJ7. So the M20 I'm not that familiar with.
Okay, great. So our review of the SJ6 Legend is up on PC Mag right now. It is 4 stars, editor's choice, available on Amazon for under $160 right now. Thank you very much. This has been Random Access with One Cool Thing. We will be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern with another cool thing for you.